Hi and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptids Roost. Let's just take a moment's silence for all the haters, Karens and the trolls. That's enough. Be sure to check out the blooper reel at the end of the video, which is then followed by the end screen where you will find more videos listed. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. Sliver, Part 7 and 8. This awesome series is written by Top Mind of Reddit. Part 7. A Way Out. In an instant, everything was bright white, and if a photograph developed by my own eyes, the image appeared. Sharp shadows cast from jagged protrusions in the walls reaching towards the centre of the tunnel for about 20 feet before it curved out of sight. It stood on all fours. Its body was human in appearance, but its limbs were anything but. Its hind legs stood on a tall heel, much like most four-legged ground-dwelling mammals, and its arms were long, like that of a batwing, but without the membranous skin that enabled flight. Both feet and hands had long, bony toes and fingers, and its face, oh God, its face! A thin neck connected to an abnormally large chin. High cheekbones held its two glowing eyes like pedestals. Its angular visage was a portrait of waning humanity that had been replaced by a manifestation of pain, horror, and torment. It shrieked in the preceding darkness of the flash, and I heard it retreat back into the depth of the tunnel. During the flash, I could see that just to the right of where the creature had stood, there was a passage that led to a dark area with a narrow wooden platform. That must be the manway for the main shaft, I thought. I took advantage of the respite that the creature had afforded me and booked it to the platform. I took the picture out of the camera's ejection slot and shoved it in my back pocket, then snapped another picture. It turned out it was the main shaft, but there was no ladders leading up. They seemed to all have been broken away. Platforms too. I turned my attention downward, and I could see down about 25 feet. There was a tunnel that was glowing with the faint light of the setting sun. And at it, there was a back entrance after all. I took another picture. In the flash, I could see there was nothing below the platform I was standing on. There was no way down but to jump. So I did. Landing on my side, my arms wrapped around my head. I immediately felt immense pain throughout my entire body. The ribs on the side that I had landed on felt like they had broken and shifted inward, making breathing difficult. My right leg was limp at the shin, and my right forearm had a jagged protrusion that I suspected to be bone. I pulled myself to stand on one foot and began to hop towards the illuminated tunnel, bracing myself on the wall as I went. As I entered the tunnel, the faint evening light was almost blinding, but nonetheless I could finally see outside. Part 8. The End. The Finale. The desert air cradled my face like warm, welcoming hands, cooling the streaks of tears and sweat. I came upon a dead and withered mesquite tree and broke a branch off to use as a crutch. Walking still proved difficult from my inability to brace myself using my broken arm. The protrusion was indeed bone. I began walking, best that I could, up the hill. From this angle it looked totally unrecognisable at the point that Jim and I began our journey. About 2.5 hours of walking, night had fallen, and I could barely make out what appeared to be black scaffolding like voids in the stars behind the top of the hill. It must be the head frame, I thought. Home stretch. I continued hopping, sliding and tripping up the hill. Every once in a while I could hear pebbles falling from the incline, or the scraping of dead mesquites. A rabbit would occasionally jump out from behind a creosote bush. Any other time, this environment, the plants, animals, gentle breeze, the beautiful opalescent sky would give me a feeling of peace and tranquility. But I was quickly losing my nerve. I couldn't shake the sense that I was still being followed. Bright as the cosmic specks of light were, they did little to allow me the ability to make out what might have been that creature's white body against the sand behind me. Things moved all around me, and noises never seemed to have a source. I caught glimpses of movements out of the margins of my vision, but when I look, nothing there. Pareidolia played the horizon as everything that sprouted from it seemed sinister. I made it up the last ledge of the hill that hid the mine in its belly. I made it. I was nearly crawling at that point. Jim's Bronco seemed to remain the same distance no matter how much more ground I covered. I was slowly passing the head frame when I was blinded by light and caught off guard by a loud crunch of gravel and the gentle rumble of a truck engine. I put my hand up to shield my eyes and then collapsed. I heard the truck door open.
"Hey, are you alright?"
A man's voice said as he approached me. He was silhouetted in front of his headlights. I couldn't answer. I was too weary and thirsty.
"What the hell are you doing on my property?"
The man asked before taking a closer look to see that I was wearing a climbing harness and a headlamp.
"You was in the mine, wasn't you?"
I nodded. I...
"You must be crazy to be jumping off into there by yourself at night."
Not alone. Jim,
"Did someone else in there?"
he asked. I nodded again. But there's something else. There's something in there. I reached into my back pocket and pulled out the picture. The man reached down and took the picture and studied it for a moment.
"Does anyone know you're out here?"
I looked up at him to see if I could make out any expression that would indicate what he intended by the question. I couldn't. He put the picture in his pocket and knelt down in front of me.
"That thing's got a name."
He paused to look and nod at the valley I had just trekked from. No sooner had he said that, I felt my whole body being jerked away as if I had been tied by the ankles to a bull running full brake. The beams of the truck's headlights got smaller, and the man stood up and watched as I was dragged away, kicking, flailing and screaming. The metal bars of the head frame flew past my head, reaching for them to no avail, and then I was in the shaft, violently grasping the air and the earth, and desperately shrieking, watching as the window to the opalescent sky got further and further away, darker and darker, until it finally went black. And I hope you all enjoy the blooper reel, but without the membranous. Both feet and hands had a long bony toes and fingers. I took the picture out of the camera's ejection shot. I made it up the last. I was slowly passing the head frame when I was blinded by light and caught off guard by a loud crunch. Start again. I looked up at him to see if I could make out any expression. Violently grasping the air and a... Hey family, please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to chokehold that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. And by subscribing, you'll be the first to see all of our new spooky creepypasta stories. A very big thank you to Top Mind of Reddit for allowing me to narrate this awesome series. Make sure to check out Top Mind of Reddit's Reddit page for more brilliant stories as well. Also be sure to check out the Top Mind of Reddit playlist here for more of the stories that I may have already narrated. I would just like to say a very big thank you to all of the authors that I have worked with and all the ones that I will work with in the future. So thank you all, my brothers and sisters. And why not hashtag cryptidsroost in your comments. If you would like to support the channel and help make us grow, I have an account at buymeacoffee.com. You can buy me a coffee with your donations, big or small, to that site. You can also support us at Ko-Fi, which is an alternative to Patreon. I have an account at BitChute, which is an alternative to YouTube. Or you can support us and donate via paypal.me/cryptidsroost. All relevant links will be below. And don't forget to check out the end screen, see above. That will also list some more videos in my back catalogue. Take care everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful and peaceful night. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.